It is my last day for the year, and in all seriousness, what a great joy.
Could be ever, by the way.
Could be,
That first hour.
A privilege it is to have Sam Pang in the studio, sitting alongside us for the last couple of hours. Welcome, Samuel.
Garry, it's a big privilege. I'm very, very excited. I've never been this excited to do radio. I did 7 years of breakfast radio on Nova, and I will talk today more than I did in those 7 years. You've reminded me that. It's not FM, mate, with your little short talk breaks and then you throw to an Ed Sheeran song. We've got to talk. You've got to converse.
That's exactly what I said to you, because the last time you've been in a couple of times with Brownie, and I have watched you go through, and by about the 25-minute mark, you start to fade. And that's some serious feedback.
Listen, at the Olympics, what's the biggest event?
The
100-metre sprint. That's right. The power.
I was going to say the marathon.
When it comes to radio, I've got good fast twitch fibres. You know what I mean? I get good stuff out there, but then you'll be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Listen, our audience, this is your chance, so you can ring up. We will talk a bit of sport, not much.
What is there?
That's the thing. I was looking through all my notes, and there's not apart from Glenn Maxwell making 200 the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Zardozi's a favourite for the Oaks. You'd be all over that. Are you going?
What? To the Oaks?
Yes.
By the way, I'm just letting you know, there'll be a lot of this. Like, you'll say something, and I'll just look at you and go, what? That's all I'm doing.
This is what some of our audience would prefer us do.
That's true.
Eddie Jones has confirmed he's definitely be interested in the Japan job. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, he said, because there's been a lot of conjecture about Eddie Jones.
Here we go. You've done you've read something here.
As the coach, when he was coaching the Wallabies, there was a little bit of conjecture that he may have been interviewing for the Japan job.
That's exactly right.
Which I defended him. I said, yeah, you should be allowed to do that. You've got to look after your future. I don't think in hindsight, this is a hot take, I don't think in hindsight he should have interviewed for the Japan job at halftime during the Fijian loss. That's all I'd say. Wait till the game's over, Eddie. Here's one for you. I once got asked to play Eddie Jones in a movie. Have I ever told you that?
Do you know what? I was half going to do a joke about that.
Why didn't you can?
Well, I know I can with you, but I didn't want to sound like I was taking liberties with our audience, who they're just feeling their way with you at the moment, but they're loving you with your early stuff. They think you got some real sharp stuff out the way.
No, I'm warning them now. There'll be a lot of racial gear over the next couple of hours. Just letting them know. Now, you're allowed to say, by the way, you remind me a little bit of Eddie Jones. You were going to say that, weren't you?
Well, you said you got asked to play him in a movie.
I did get asked.
What movie?
Well, it ended up being. It got made. It was called
Ride Like a Girl.
No. Although, what a movie that would be. You should just be able to take bits of sport and just make your own movie.
Make it topical.
We're doing a movie about, was it Prince of Penzance? But Michelle Payne's not writing it. Eddie Jones is. Yeah, what a trailer. Hey,
no, you're doing the movie, and then Eddie walks through in the back of shot.
Oh, just a little cameo.
Yeah, a little cameo.
Well, the movie was called The Brighton Miracle.
About what?
Well, it's about he was coaching, I think he was coaching Japan, and they had a famous victory, I think, against South Africa. Someone out there will know. So this movie got made called The Brighton Miracle, and the director asked me to play Eddie Jones.
It's a
big role.
Not a big
and
part.
I remember I said to him, we had a coffee. I said, mate, can I just ask you? You ever thought about getting an actor to do it? And do you know who ended up playing him?
Who?
After I politely declined. Who?
Ando.
Who's Ando?
Ando.
Ando.
Oh, Ando. Ando.
Ando. Listen, I'm going to paint you. I'm going to paint you over the next couple of hours. All right? We're going to give away the canvas at the end of the show. No, you know who ended up playing?
Who?
Tamura Morrison.
The guy who married. No, that's
Van Morrison's brother. No, Tamura Morrison, who from Once Were Warriors. A great Maori actor.
Yeah, who married Rita Ora?
That's Taika Waititi.
So different ballpark.
Yeah, very different, as in two different men.
New Zealander.
Absolutely. Yeah. But so he they ended up getting a real actor. But anyway, Eddie Jones looks like he's going to coach Japan.
And the Brighton Miracle is about what, Beck Judd driving. And having
it's about Brownie's new house. It's about where Brownie's going to live now.
Are we getting him on today? Are we going to put a call through?
We could try.
Well,
once he knows, I don't think he knows this is happening because any time we're in here, I come in here with him.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I know you say I don't really know what I'm doing, but at least I do wait till the mics are on. You know what I mean? He's just off mic going, "What are we doing?"
Yeah. No, that's right. He comes in with you all the time because we're not certain that you can go beyond that 4-minute period, which you're now demonstrating you have because we're
just talked wallabies. I just talked rugby union for 2 minutes, guys. What else do I have to do?
What else have I got here that I can?
I've got a few things, by the way. Is that all right? Just things on the way in?
No, preparation is key. What do you got?
One is I don't think there was enough sizzle. I don't think your forward announced me enough. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't want to oversell. I didn't want to oversell because this is beyond even our greatest expectation to have you in here.
This is a joy. So you spoke to Wisp?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's
for 25 minutes, which I didn't think was long enough.
in this studio on this station, you got to insert ad at some stage.
Oh yeah, well actually, hey Joel, do we have that clip? Do we have? So this is what I heard. This is why why I came in early, right? Because I heard you in here just drowning. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
So by the way, it's 6:33.
Yeah.
You went through some sports updates.
Yes,
right?
I did. Yes.
but the Wisp was gone, and you were by yourself.
Yeah.
And this is where. Put it this way, I was just cruising down Punt Road, and after I heard this,
you put the foot down.
Yeah, it was fast and furious stuff, mate. I went up on a curb. I went through the town.
You got to help him out.
I got to help him out because once I heard you talking surfing.
World Surf League has confirmed that Australian Laura Enover has set a new Guinness World Record title for the largest wave surfed. Surf paddled in. Okay, so not pulled in by a jet ski. Is that the difference? Yep.
The gap, what about the gap between the emergency music almost started? People listening thought that you were off air.
Well,
there was such a big gap that, like, I don't know what you have as the emergency song, but it just almost started playing.
This is the thing. When you've done radio with someone else for your whole life and all of a sudden you're on your own, those gaps normally are filled in by the other bloke.
Mate, I tell you what, there's a couple of horses on Cup Day that I wished they'd had that big a gap to go through. The jockey, I would have won by 5 lengths. What else I got?
What else you got? We're going to speak to Mark Leishman about the Cathedral Invitational. You're a regular down there.
Regular?
You're a regular. I know you
Sometimes they get me up there just to clean. It's amazing.
What about that? They got Adam Scott, Cam Smith, and Mark Leishman.
Going to Cathedral Lodge.
Yeah. Playing
when?
December. That's what we're talking about.
You have to not going to tell everyone. You got to make them wait till.
No, not at all. Not at all. Just got to look it up. December the 5th and 6th. It's a 2-day event.
Can you go up and watch?
Yes, and that's the joy. You get inside the ropes and wander around.
Wow.
I'll be surprised if you're not up there for the pro-am, which is something you do regularly in the off season.
No, pro-ams are not for me. I don't want anyone to see my swing.
Someone said they followed you and Brownie in the Australian Open Pro-Am. So I got a message coming through. They want to know whether you're going to play again because they never laughed so hard in all their life.
No, I tell you what, when Brownie and I do play, if we play in those things, ours is the group though. It's exciting golf because you don't know where the shot's going to go. You don't want boring golf down the middle.
No, you don't want to line up too close either in that vacuum of.
Hey, I can see the temper text. You know that.
I know you can for the first time. So be kind, everyone, for Sammy.
Yeah, no.
Can I ask you this? I want to get a little bit serious about the.
What about this one? If Hangy, is it true you auditioned for the part of Olivia Newton-John missing ex-boyfriend in the telly movie a few years ago? Mate, do you know that guy? Do you remember him? His name was Patrick McDermott.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he was handsome.
Yeah, he was a good-looking man.
But he went missing, right? And then they kind of found him, and he's been on a, they said he said he was on a fishing trip. But the only thing wrong with that excuse was not one fish in sight when he was there. He went missing.
What do you mean they went missing and they kind of found him?
They thought he was down in Mexico.
So they found him or not?
Well, I tell you what though, when I'm done with my relationship, I'm not going to do it though. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to pretend I'm dead. I'm not kidding you. I'm going all the way. Commit. Well, don't take your partner out for coffee and break up.
No.
Pretend go missing. Fake your own death. That's the way to go.
This is outside of my wheelhouse. This stuff. This is FM pop culture style that we're getting into. Yes, it is.
All right.
It's very FM pop culture, which is okay. I like it. What about we haven't seen?
We're going to get serious.
No. I just got to say we haven't. you've done my favourite show, Have You Been Paying the Most Attention, which I never miss. I watch that every Monday night.
You almost got away with it.
Every Monday night.
Every Monday night. You ever, when they come
finale
back.
on Monday it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, much like your career today. What's the name of that show again?
Have you been paying the attention? Have you been paying attention?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, your favourite show that you never miss.
So you come back, you've done that, but you haven't really since the Logies, because this is what I loved. You absolutely smashed it, nailed it. Feedback was unbelievable. Then you did the old mic drop, out. And we didn't see you for 6 weeks. And then the stories start to emerge. Where's Sam Pang gone? Where's he? What's happened to Sam Pang?
That's what I was after.
Mystery. What did you do?
Conjecture. I went overseas on a holiday.
Right.
Straight away, like on the.
Was it a tactic?
No. Well,
Did you
people said because it was on the.
Yourself, one or two things going to happen here. I'm going to stink this up that badly. I've got to get out of the country. Or on the off chance that I nail it, then I can sort of do the mic drop and wander off.
On the off chance. That's a passive aggressive from you, Garry. It's unbelievable. No, I thought it was quite a big build up to be honest.
No, it was
I thought
huge.
it'd be, and so I just thought. And I was still doing those other shows, have you been paying the most attention?
Yeah.
That one you love, and Front Bar. And I thought, you know what, come Logies on a Sunday night, we'll go out to lunch on the Monday, and then I'll get out of town. And just it's just time for a break. It wasn't strategic but it went all right. But it's like it could have gone.
Was it harder than you thought it would be?
It was quite an adventure on the night. Do you know what I mean?
In all honesty, it would be the most challenging gig.
I was surprised at how I think I'm all right at actually staying in my lane. Like I knew that the opening monologue was important, and then certain bits throughout the night.
Yep.
And I that's all I focused on. I'm not a big picture guy where I want to make sure the lights are right and there's a musical guest and all. I don't care at all.
Like as compared to.
You
want to name names?
Who else? Who's all over?
Like when Bert was doing it, they wouldn't have worried about the lights.
No, that's true. I don't know what all I'm saying is I knew what I'd be judged on, so I didn't care about the rest of it. So there was, the producers have 100 things to think about, of which I'm one of them.
Yep.
And then I just concentrate on my things. So I just thought I'll get out of town, and And once you've robbed a bank, you don't stick out the front, mate.
No,
you know, man, that's it.
I'm with you. And
If you've escaped a bear attack, you don't go back for your hat. What else do you want from me? I've got cliches. I've got
Did
them.
you get? Was there one that you got away with? No. Was there a zinger? Because I put a few suggestions in that didn't make the final cut. Which was
There's a lot of Eddie Jones material there. I don't think they're going to make it.
Was there one you went with and you delivered it and you got immediate response and you went, on my way here? Like, like a forward defence that comes off the middle of the bat and races to the boundary, and you think, I'm in for one here.
Well, I think it was good. I think we got away. One early was good. I think because it was a bit. It didn't make quite sense because Front Bar is on Channel 7, but I think early on, I said, how great is it to see an Asian on Channel 7 who's not trying to smuggle live birds through border security, right? But that's early. Yeah. That's like after the acknowledgement of country and then into it.
That race to the boundary.
Yeah, and it's like it's good to get one away early, and then also that tone of joke, just let everyone in the room just know that hey, there's some stuff that's going to be all right tonight.
And then there's a bit of edge to that.
But I tell you what,
the
one I'll never forget though is one in the middle that got nothing.
What was it?
But I still think it's funny. Yeah. But it got nothing.
Well, let's give it another run here because our audience, they're good judges and pretty generous.
So this joke, at the end of this joke, I say joke because there was not one single, like they didn't even know it was a joke. There was just a series of words to them. This is after getting enough, like I said, there was enough laughs.
Yeah.
And then I think the joke was something, what's he host? He hosts Survivor. What's his name? Oh, LaPaglia. Jonathan LaPaglia.
Guns.
Is that, yeah, well, I don't watch the shows.
I do. I've never missed it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
no, I love it.
It's one word, so you can get the title of that show right, as opposed to mine. I think that I said the Survivor's nominated for Most Outstanding Reality Program. Geez, I don't know if it's just me, but the what are those things?
Hold on.
The challenges on Survivor get harder and harder every year. This year, contestants were asked to name another show they recognised Jonathan LaPaglia from. Right, that was the joke. Right, as in, I don't. It doesn't seem to do much else. And there was nothing. Crickets. And I just said, oh well, yeah, that one was just for me. And then we moved on. That was it. So but I saw, who did I see backstage? I saw Tom Gleeson and Hughesy backstage, and they said the best thing about something that doesn't work is it actually just shows everyone out there that, there's some stakes, that they're not all gold, and they don't all, it's obviously live, and they're not, you never know if they're going to work or not.
Maxie got dropped on his way to 200.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah, you watched all that, didn't you?
You
watched all that, but you don't even know the name of my show on Monday nights that you never miss.
Well, I tell you what, Sam Pang in the studio, the audience, they are so taken that they haven't even had to ring and ask a question. They're just sitting back, listening and enjoying this wander down.
That's another way of saying there's no calls.
SEN Breakfast from Melbourne Airport Parking. No, we're not a call station. We're a temper text station, as you can see, singing along. Anything you want to have a chat about? I've got some other stuff as well. Sam Pang in the studio till 9. Some messages coming through. This is from a Sam in Hobart. In the 90s, Sam was actually recruited to Tasmanian footy club Sandy Bay. Big things were expected of him. By July, Sam had returned to Victoria. The Sandy Bay Footy Club no longer exists.
I think it was May.
Is there any Is there any story there?
Yeah, I popped down there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sandy Bay,
yeah.
the North Melbourne jumper.
Oh yeah.
And
the weather didn't agree with it.
Homesick, genuine homesickness.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever anyone you hear homesickness, I'm very, very empathetic there. And may have had the heart broken as well, Gaz. Seriously. It's very, very, a young girl, a young dancer from one of the clubs here. She broke my heart. And it's very,
I know what you're talking
about. Very hard to mend a broken heart if you don't have all the pieces.
Garry and Sam, just a quick question. How much did Sam love his former club winning the flag? Has he been back to get a photo with Fly in the Cup? Now, you were famously down at Collingwood.
Oh God, that's worse than the country career.
I'm just reading it out.
So yes, back in the 1,000 years ago when they used to have the under-19s, I was down at Collingwood for a brief run, right? A cup of coffee, as they would say.
Yeah. And
that's one of the joys about Front Bar is that when those wonderful guests that I have,
yes,
I'll say this: I've got Mari and Mick covered in terms of footy pedigree. Do you know what I mean?
Not hard.
No, that's true. But the legends over there, like yourself, who've been on, and they know how bad a play you had to have been just to make that level. Like no reserves games, nothing.
I don't agree with that. I think.
Oh mate, it's fine. I don't have any regrets. I think it was a wonderful. So I was never any good. It was fine.
It's not what you told me when you kicked the 9 against. Who'd you kick 9 against for Tony?
Let's listen.
You said you'd come in as long as I brought up the 9 in the first hour. Or was it 7?
What's 7 against Rochester, who was coached by your old teammate? Right. What's his name?
Dirty Dave Williams.
Yes, you should get him on. I wonder if he remembers that day. Because tell you what.
That's exactly exactly what
7 handballs over the top.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a call into Dirty Dave. You were going to tell me a story about...
Which one?
About your time at SEN when you were there, because this is where it all kicked off.
We got time?
Wait, my word, we have.
I'd have to wait for a break?
Well, soon, but way back in the day, you were at SEN with the Wisp and Andy Marr.
I saw one of the text messages come through about...
Get it right. Temper text.
Yeah, the temper text. And someone said, who was the guy who didn't think Sam was up to it or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Mari told me there was a boss you used to have on this station, and he didn't... I came on with Garry, with Andy Marr and Wisp. When they did the thing.
Yes.
And I came on, and Murray said, we should get him on more often or whatever. And that guy said, nah, he laughs at his own jokes. No good. Which I don't care if you think him funny.
That's aged well.
No, but if you think you're funny or think I'm funny, that's different.
Yeah.
But I don't laugh at my own jokes.
A little bit.
That's just...
No, go on.
Well, someone has to this morning. You're busy reading the screen. You know what you're doing. So anyway, I remember coming on one morning. Yeah. This is I don't think I've told this story. Mari and Tim were having a good time, but it was around the time that Scott Waters, the St Kilda coach at the time, was having some trouble.
Yes,
and he actually rang in to kind of put his case forward to kind of just tell everyone.
As a talkback caller.
Absolutely.
No.
This is what happened, Gaz. He rang in, because it was a breakfast. It was that's where the temperature of the sporting climate is taken.
That's right.
And he rang in and kind of, no, it wasn't an impassioned plea, but it was like just saying to everyone, listen, we're on the right track. Right. I'm happy here. Everyone's
proactive.
Happy. Absolutely, proactive.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, right? But you talked about, if something happened this morning, what would happen to me? I would go quiet. So between Mari and Tim, there was a wonderful interview where Scott Waters was talking about, the current state of the play. At the time he was on the radio, the St Kilda board were meeting and he was sacked 2 hours later.
No.
Yeah. And so that was his last ever interview as St Kilda coach.
And it wasn't even an interview. He was just a talkback caller.
Yeah. Well, Mari and Tim did an unbelievable job because it was quite surreal to be there. And I was sitting there, 5 minutes before he rang, I was talking about Paul Pios and what he, how he could have been anything. So I just stayed quiet.
Right.
And right at the end, so after he kind of said, to all the St Kilda fans, and then he hung up. And I was going to ask a question. So this bit, Mari, of course, a wonderful professional, said, that was amazing to hear from the current St Kilda coach, 2 hours later, he's sacked. Yeah. And as it was going to the break, Mari said, geez, you were a bit quiet there, Pangy. I said, well, yes, I didn't want to get in the way. The only question I had for Scott Waters would have been, do you think that St Kilda have really ever fully recovered from the retirement of Robert Elphingston? Right? That's what I was going to ask. Which, if I'd slipped that in late, would have been the last ever question he was asked as St Kilda coach.
Before he
you
was
imagine
sacked.
that? Which, by the way, guys, could have quite happened, and it could have easily happened. Like after the serious stuff. Hey Sam, you got a question for Scott?
Little light zinger, just to finish.
That could have been.
Could have been.
That could have been his last ever question as St Kilda coach.
I don't want to one up your story because I love that story.
Well, that's what you do. That's your go.
No,
if someone tells a story. Now I've got a better one.
Hutchie talked with Damien Drum. You aware of his sacking story?
Yeah, he's on the stairs.
Yeah, that was Hutchie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
We played that clip on Front Bar. I didn't. No. But I didn't know. I've only seen the camera angle of Damien Drum getting the news. That was Hutchie.
Well, we could even get the boss in to tell this. He had the story about Damien Drum being sacked, and I don't know the full detail, but Drummy's running up this. You've seen the vision. Yeah. He's all happy about ready to go to somewhere, and Hutchie's had to stop him and go, "Have you heard the news?" And he's gone, "Well, what do you mean?
Well, by the way,
you've been sacked."
It's unbelievable footage. If Hutchie comes into the studio, wouldn't you? It's safe to assume that we've just been sacked.
Well, possibly that could be a good thing in the end. So far out of my depth this morning. It's not funny. It is my last morning for the year, and what a way to go out. Sam Pang for a sharp hour and then trailed off a touch.
I've got nothing left.
Now
like a horse that's been pulled up.
We need another lift. And Andy Lee's wandered into the studio as well, which is just extraordinary. We've never had such quality in here. Welcome, Andy.
Oh, nice to be here. Well, when you hear two guys floundering for 90 minutes, the emergency SOS went out. I saw the light in the sky. Nice. It wasn't for me. It was for Hamish. But I thought I better come in here.
You know anything about surfing,
is it Sportsbet make it look easy? Is that what
That's right.
Yeah.
How good was he?
Two guys have never made something look so hard.
It's not report. It's not my strength, that stuff. No. But also, I thought you'd be better.
They're going to rake him in after that big time. Don't worry about that.
Gee, isn't Wisp now thinking, gee, I'm not on enough?
I'll tell you what, he'll be back from Europe in a heartbeat now.
Never safer, I thought. He's just extended his holiday. That's how comfortable he is after hearing us.
How good to see you in here.
Great to be in here, guys.
I feel like I listen. I'm a religious listener. Oh, you just look at you,
Maxie. Oh,
hey mate, you're just looking at screens now and just pointing.
Yeah,
we're on radio. What are you looking? What are you doing?
Well, we've got to talk. I mean, you've probably already covered it well off, but
not with Sam, no.
Glenn Maxwell. I mean, it's hard for you because you get up early, but I've been doing the late night watch of every single Australian game.
Because you are cricket nuff, aren't you?
Yes. And obviously the week off, Maxie, after a good day at the golf.
That's right. Had us tumble off the back of the cart. You're across all that?
What?
Are you not across
What did he do? No.
So he missed the England game for concussion because they had a golf day after they'd righted the ship and they're all going well and they thought they'd tip a couple in. He's tipped himself off the back of a golf cart.
Concussion protocol. True story.
Really?
Yeah. True
he
story.
missed the game.
He missed the game.
Just one though.
Just the one.
Okay.
Yeah. And so everyone's saying, "Oh, this is a bit off. What are they doing? Haven't they got it right? What's the culture like? All that kind of stuff. Is Maxie right for the team, etc." Comes out and hits 200.
200?
Fully cramped.
When was that?
200. 2 nights ago.
Okay.
Australia, I'm going to make up the figures, but Australia is 7 for 90.
7 for 91.
7 for 91 against Afghanistan. And he comes in and hits 200 and we win.
You know what?
It's the single greatest World Cup. Certainly
Did you watch it all?
Yeah, certainly World Cup performance I've ever seen. And it just makes me think, bang him on the head a week out from every game. I would be taking the semi-final off if we make it. We are in there now. And I'd be giving him whack off the head, whether you drop him off the back of a golf cart or just line him up. But he...
I'd have whatever. At the very least, I'd have him warm up on the ground in the cart and hope it topples over. And
the other amazing thing that was so comical, Sam, is that Pat Cummins, look at him, 12 runs off 58 balls as we see it at the moment.
Yeah.
Because he cramped and couldn't run, Maxie, you can see just straight legs. He looked like Gumby hitting the ball. He just kept slogging sixes, and Pat was a wall at the other end trying not to go out. So he blocked an over.
12 off 68. I didn't even
I think
realise
you've
that.
got to use
12 off 68, and at the other end, 185 off 125 when they've got 4 overs to go.
Andrew, you've got to use the correct terminology for Pat Cummins' innings. Sheet anchor roll.
See, I knew you'd come through.
I got some.
They put on 202. They put on a partnership of 202, of which Pat Cummins contributed 12.
Much like you this morning, then. There you go. That's what you've done today. That's what you've done. But you've come in and saved us, mate.
Yep.
I am losing energy.
That is the voice
Like a marathon.
of Sam
He's hit the
Pang.
wall.
Andy Lee in as well, and this sums us up beautifully off the old temper text. I know I'm getting old when Andy Lee is on AM radio. What a treat.
Well, it's more a tribute to you. The idea that, Andy and I are here because we thought
The final day.
ever.
Yeah.
Hutchie just
most
texted
probably.
through. Ever, he said.
Rob Sitch just texted me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, you could have got him in as well.
He said, I'm glad you're in there. When Sam opened with his Tongala stories, I didn't think he had 2 hours in him.
That's
Which is not
that
great
hurts.
team camaraderie. Do you know this, Gaz, that we're heading off this weekend?
Well-
Rob, Sam and I are part of the same golfing team. The Entertainers taking on Publicans in a golf tournament.
And I love the sound of that. And
Glennie Robbins is involved too.
I've just spoke about the Cathedral Golf Course because Mark Leishman's playing the Invitational
Yes.
there, and then Sam's made out like, only the elite and the best of the best can get up there. And of course, your golf game is at
At Cathedral, yes. The controversial part, it's Entertainers versus Publicans, guys that own the pubs around Melbourne.
Yep.
And Mick Malloy's always been the captain of the Entertainers, which has been so controversial.
of which that's you.
But for the first time, he's apparently got a 1% share of some hotel, Railway Hotel or something, and he's crossed the floor, and now he's playing for the Publicans this weekend.
Good for you. I
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
When you
Actually,
talk about trimming dead wood.
it's spot on, mate. Spot on. Also, you know what? After the year he had on front bar, probably shouldn't not right to call him an entertainer. Otherwise, it's absolutely straight over to the Publicans. Feels about right for him too.
Exactly. But for suits the front bar as well, a Publican.
Yeah,
He still
absolutely.
keeps his seat there.
No,
but yeah.
it's mate. It's wonderful you came in.
Nice to be in.
But you're back from Darwin.
Yes, Hamish and I went up north. For those that follow our podcast,
You're a big fan, Gaz. You went through one summer.
I'm a religious follower, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
And I'm about 2 behind, so I'm very happy because last time I was listening to one of those, the organisation had packed up.
yeah, to bring everyone quickly up to speed. And it's such a long story, so I'll try and keep it
Mate,
brief.
it's on AM. You can go as long as you want on here, so it's unbelievable.
But I was up in Darwin in March, and I saw 2 jumping croc tours, Sam. One was called Spectacular Jumping Croc Tours,
Yeah.
and the other one was called the Original Jumping Croc Tours. And
What's a jumping croc again?
it's just where they hang a chicken.
Normally a chicken.
Yeah, about head height off the side of a boat, and the crocs come out and actually jump out of the water and eat it.
unbelievable.
It's spectacular,
Yeah.
but also original. So I pondered which one came first and whether Spectacular came along second. So the original wouldn't have called themselves original; they just would have been Jumping Croc Tour, and then they had to rebrand. And as it turns out, I hit a nerve because people were writing in from the NT saying these guys do not get along. And the small business skirmishes, the stories over 40 years have been super serious.
Oh,
yeah, involved some dangerous activity as well. So Hamish and I went up to Darwin this weekend just gone to try and bring...
Peacemakers.
Yeah, a peace treaty, try and bring both operators together to see if we could get peace in the north.
And don't give the ending away.
Nah,
Okay,
it came out to this today, on the pod today, the whole story.
Oh.
It was emotional, I'll put it that way. Hamish
And
had
did you take your false tooth that you're going to put on one of
Yes,
the...
I took my old denture and we put I can say that we added it to a necklace and had the first crocodile wearing a human tooth necklace, opposed to just humans constantly wearing croc tooth necklaces.
So this story was over a few
months.
Over months.
Yeah.
See, this is what you need to do on this show. You need some sort of narrative, some sort of
entertain people?
Yeah, well, no one expects that from you guys. Just some sort of narrative, some sort of serial where people can actually have a reason.
Well, maybe
to
you
tune
could have
in.
a regular slot next year and come in and just develop it over a period of time.
I've just talked more in the last 2 hours than I did in the whole 7 years on Nova. I am cooked. I'm done.
We went to Howard Springs Tavern to collect our thoughts outside of Darwin on our way to the croc tours to kind of chat to them. We chatted to Renee there, and I said, have you heard about the feud? She goes, yeah, I've heard about the feud. And I said, does it get ugly? And she goes, yeah, particularly on a Wednesday night.
Why?
And I said, why? It's titty night. I was like, what? Right. And then
It's
Hamish,
working a bit blue on our program.
that's when Hamish said, it's true, the UN never tries to settle anything on titty night. Always wait till Thursday afternoon when things have calmed down.
All right,
They're a different breed up there in the NT. It's awesome.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the state of the clock. Are we allowed to keep going? I got some genuine questions.
Go.
Yeah.
So people obviously know you're a big Carlton man.
Yes.
And it would be ridiculous to. Well, yeah. How did you enjoy the season? What a ride it was. We won 2 finals, isn't that? It was great,
Loved
wasn't
the
it?
season. Went up to Brisbane. It was the best first quarter.
He went up there. He went up there for the.
I know
the
he
lead.
did. I saw him on the cutaways.
Yep. So, yeah, absolutely love the season. Ready to go again. And we've got Fantasia. The only annoying thing was having BT having to say his name again.
Fantasia!
Yes, that's the one thing. That's the one disappointing thing about Orazio joining Carlton.
All right. The other thing is when will you be on the board?
On the board?
Yeah.
Of what?
Of Carlton. Of Carlton.
Never.
You're never going to do it?
Nah.
I told Gaz you're going to be on it one day. You're going to be president.
I think I had a conversation with Garry about this many years ago, and he said, don't do it.
Same advice I shared with you only moments ago.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of boards.
Well, not most of them.
Yeah, but anyway, is that not going to happen?
No.
And
I thought you were going to be president.
You were, if you're listening on the drive-in, Sam, every time I see him, which is, thankfully for me, semi-regular, he talks about his footballing prowess and Tom Gale.
God, I do not.
And the fact that he kicked 9 goals against Rochester. Was it 9 or 7?
No.
Who
7
was coached
against
by
Rochester.
Dave Williams, who's a mate of mine, used to play with. I've just got this text. Sorry, I'm overseas at the moment. I can't remember, but it has been mentioned to me from a teammate that he played in 2000, that he thought Sam kicked 9 against us. I checked my scrapbook at the time. It wasn't that year, so I thought it might have been the late 90s. So he can't recall you kicking the 7 or the 9. He went back to the scrapbook.
Well, why would he? He was only coach at the time. He probably wasn't paying attention. He's probably too busy moving blokes off me. Jesus. He's lost me forever.
No,
Unbelievable.
I'm just.
Is that your single greatest performance?
No, this morning I would have thought. Andy, just getting through. If I get through till 9, it will be top of the tree.
Andy, can I ask you about your house? Is that delving into sort of?
No, they write enough
public.
about it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I try to keep it private, but anyway.
How's that all progressing? Because it's a big project.
It's a big project. The costings came back last week, and it's about to be a bit of a smaller project. No, it's fun.
Unbelievable. It's great. I know exactly where it is. It's a great spot down the Yarra.
Yeah. So it's an old, dilapidated. It's got no running water, no electricity, grass going through it, and no ceiling at the moment. The possums and the pigeons love it.
The squatters are happy too.
There actually has been squatters in there.
Really?
Yeah, so it's comfy for them. But so we've got a bit of work to do. I'm just hopeful that Scott Cam can come around with 2 people that don't know what they're doing.
I read where you tongue-in-cheek said that, and someone followed through. Is there a chance that you could document this? And because you more than anyone, from a social media savviness point of view, you could document the whole thing and have it all paid for, and you just got to open up your world.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll take that on notice. I don't think so, to be honest, because you don't want to hear me saying to Beck, make your wardrobe smaller, and her saying you take out the golf sim. So that's
relatable.
That's pretty much the extent of the arguments happening in our house at the moment.
You're so popular, right? Is there anyone who don't you get along with? Is there any feud? You got a feud going on?
That's a
at the
good
moment?
question.
Yeah, you got any feuds?
Nick Malloy. He's just crossed the floor. He's against us this week.
Oh, that's true.
Do I have any feuds?
What about at any stage of your storied career with Hamish?
Oh, look, I mean, we know this. People know this, but Will Anderson was the feud for
Really?
Hamish and I. Yeah,
Real or
a
imagined?
feud.
real one. Unfortunately, yeah.
Has
Yeah,
it been
well-
resolved, or is it?
Will invited me on his podcast, and we talked about it.
duked it out?
It got pretty prickly. Yeah, it's interesting. Listen, but Will's pretty awful, and I really respect Will, and he does great stuff now, and he's been very apologetic. But he was pretty awful to Hamish and I back in the day.
Is that right?
And
How can anyone be awful to you two?
in print, on the Glass House, on the radio, and I'd never met him.
On what basis?
And this is it was the butt of his jokes. Like we was not going anywhere, and it was just one day I was just like, if I get in front of this, my mum rang me one day and goes, what have you done to Will Anderson? I was like, I never met him, Mum. I've never met him. And we're 21, I think. So you're just trying to find yourself in the industry. And I saw Will at Long Grain Restaurant in Sydney, and I'm like, great, I can go across and put a face to the name, and maybe
Glass
he
him.
might change.
What do you
Maybe he'll
do?
change his ways. So I went across and said to Will, hey, Will, I'm Andy from Hamish and Andy. Just never met you before, but understand. And he looked at me. He was on a date. He looked at me and said, you know what? I show people through my house and go, this is the Hamish and Andy kitchen because the amount of money I've made off jokes of you.
Oh, really?
And just burnt me again.
Jesus,
And,
I didn't know that. I've always found Will a lovely company.
He is.
I think sorted it out. See
we
that?
didn't see it made it. Look, what happened was Hamish and I kind of got a radio show from nowhere, and there was a line of comedians that felt that they should have been given that opportunity before us, and I think Will was just defending the comedians back in the day. No hard feelings from me now. But.
Time will tell if that little partnership of yours with Hamish will
Yeah,
turn out all right.
I'm not sure.